Welcome to the eCom Collab Club podcast, where operators, risk takers, and battle-tested founders drop the lessons that cost them time, money, and their sanity, and share what actually works so you don't have to pay the same price. Hosted by Peter Gardner and Adam Pierce, founders of the eCom Collab Club and Blend Commerce, the Shopify CRO agency.
Ad costs are up, attention spans are down, CMOs are trying to optimize their funnels, but the funnels are not funneling. Today, I'm joined by Joseph Aubry, CEO of Loyally, to talk about how to keep your customers coming back, even when those macroeconomics are having a wobble. We're going to tackle how to keep profits steady, why loyalty and lifetime value are the new survival kits, and how to grow when market strategy does not mean a mild daily crisis management moment. Joseph, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Peter, for the invite. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to talk to you today about loyalty, the often forgotten metric when it comes to growth. I think a lot of people focus more on that top end, and so yeah, it's good to have an expert on here today and have somebody that's gonna talk about this with us as well. So Joe, for those that haven't met you yet, what's the backstory? How did you go from early career to building Loyally?
Yeah, so it's actually funny because I think you are based out of Australia right now, and this is actually where everything started. So about the backstory, I studied finance, so I wanted to work in financial markets, started an internship in a trading room, and I wanted to take a gap year just before my master's degree. So I went to Melbourne, Australia, and the goal was really for me to practice my English and travel a lot, obviously. So I worked in restaurants, and as part of this experience, I saw that so many people were, posting stories of their food, and I was just thinking, okay, that might be really cool to offer them a free glass of wine. So on one hand, they're generating social proof, and on the other hand, they're coming back and spending more. So it's like a win-win situation for everyone. And then I got back to France. I was supposed to continue my study, but with my roommate Thomas, we decided to drop out, and we actually launched WeWink, which was initially more like an ambassador program platform for hospitality. And during that time, we saw the rise of Shopify, the D2C model. And we saw a bigger opportunity to actually combine this relational and social approach to reinvent the way customers were engaged and fidelized by the brands. So this is how it started.
Okay, so let's go back. What was the first one that you started? What did that then merge into the Shopify side? Tell us more about that platform as well.
Yeah, so the initial concept was to reward customers for stories and reviews when they go to restaurants. What I didn't mention is that my Australia experience was in 2020, just before the COVID. So we got the time to think about it, and slowly the restaurants were opening back, but the budget were obviously super tight, but we were able to manage some really good partnerships. Our first client was actually Subway. And we really started, with nothing. Our first product, it was just a type form. We told Subway, okay, just place this QR code on your desk, and anytime someone comes, you tell them, okay, scan the QR code and indicate your Instagram handle, and tell us if you will do a story or a post. And anytime someone was completing the type form, we were in our apartment with Thomas, and we were manually checking, okay, he posted the stories, we're going to send him a code. So it really started like that.
I love the fact that you were doing it manually as well. Did anybody know that was happening in the background manually, or did they just think it was a Magic SaaS platform at that point?
Obviously, they thought it was Magic SaaS platform. We only had this customer at the time, so it was still manageable. And we wanted to go fast, obviously. But that's quite a funny story. And so it worked a little bit. We got a little bit of traction. We worked with other chain food, specifically in our hometown in Nantes, in the west of France. But yeah, we saw that a bigger opportunity was here with the rise of Shopify specifically. And yeah, but basically we launched this first product, then we designed a platform on Figma, and we went to Subway and told them, okay, this is gonna be ready in 3 months, and it's gonna cost you X K euros to get it live. So we made our first money like that, hired some developers that were out of like specific tracks, which is called Le Wagon. I think they have one subsidiary in Australia as well, by the way. So they just help people become full stack developers in a short term, in like a boot camp. And so we were like living at 7 people in our apartments. No one was paid, and we are just like trying to build something meaningful. And so it was in 2021, and then we pivoted in 2023. This is where we really started Loyally.
Okay, cool. So I mean, you did the classic thing. I think it's the founder of Airbnb who said this: do things that don't scale. And
yes,
you guys were 100% doing something that did not scale unless you built it around it off the back of that.
Exactly. Yeah, that was really helpful to follow those advices, like fake it until you make it. Obviously, at some point you have to make it, but if you kickstart and get in touch with customers and real world case studies, it was super helpful to have this approach for sure.
Yeah. I love the fact that it's clear that as well, you not taking that as a failed opportunity. You took that as, no, we pivoted and we learned, and now we launch something else that the market really wants and needs within Shopify. So what was that moment? What was that gap that you saw in the loyalty in that post-purchase space that other apps are missing or missed at that time?
So there is lots of loyalty apps out there. Some of them are quite good, I have to admit. But when you look at the loyalty industry globally, it has not been really reinvented since 50 years. It's still points, coupons, shares, etc. But on another hand, Shopify, TikTok, Klaviyo, modern technologies has really changed the way people shop and engage with brands directly on their websites. So our approach and the gap we were trying to fill was really, this asymmetry between new technologies and a very old school model. So today, consumers are interacting with brands on WhatsApp, email, point of sales, website, etc. So they're really expecting a really personalized experience, and this is where we were trying, to fill a gap. And also, I will say that all the mechanisms to earn points were basically really transactional. So it was like you spend, you earn, but it was not involving all the new touch points, such as social networks, etc. So we really tried to go from a transactional approach to more of a relational and a social approach. So yeah, we try to turn the marketing gimmick in more of an infrastructure of customers' relationship.
Yeah, awesome. One thing we haven't touched on yet, and you didn't mention on the intro, is Loyally Talks. You obviously host your own show as well. What's been the standout with hosting that?
So yeah, I really wanted to launch this podcast to learn as much as I could with really top tier people. I invited solutions, but also brands and different partners. So regarding retention specifically, I think one thing that I really learned about running the podcast is that before, retention was more considered as one person's job. It's like a little bit siloed. And right now, I think it has evolved to more, within the company culture directly. So every department is involved into the retention. So it's a little bit of a change in terms of the mindset, which I think is great.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to pick up a little bit later with you with the brands and how they're picking it up and who's taking charge of what different things and what you're seeing on those trends, especially in smaller brands and bigger brands, because it's always good to learn for both. The global economy right now, look, backflips. I don't know what it's doing. It's going crazy. Inflation, ad costs, shifting consumer confidence. You name it, it's happening. Tariffs. I mean, yeah. Where are brands going wrong when trying to grow through this crazy time?
So I think we are living in a really unique situation right now. And I would say generally that when the market is shaky, I think it's good to focus again on some fundamentals. So I'm talking about contribution margin, repeat business, and operational efficiency. I think one of the mistake that I believe some brands are still making is really to focus on return on ad spend and only track that kind of metric to fill their pipeline of leads. So that worked when capital was cheap and CPMs were a little bit lower. But today, I think it's a little bit harder to have this approach. I think you have to think a little bit more, as a business, like an operator, rather than just, a marketer. So yeah, I think the key to me in difficult times would be to focus on the core business fundamentals and build something stable, which will be able to hold it up when it's shaking.
Less reliance on those paid ads, more on the sustainable growth, SEO, putting that through, making sure you're retaining customers. Okay. So if you had to triage a struggling ecom brand right now, what's that first metric you would check to see if they're in trouble or not?
So I think it's hard to focus on one metric. So I will try to think about two or three. I mentioned contribution margin. I think it's really important. Obviously, the lifetime value on customer acquisition cost ratio, and also repeat purchase rate. Because if 80% of your revenue comes from first-time buyers that you acquire through paid ads, you're basically standing on sand. And if tomorrow it's more expensive, you are in a risk of having a way less business than before. So if you have like a good repeat rate, a good margin, it shows that you are able to deliver some great value to your customers. They're coming back for it, and you are also efficient because you have a good margin. And if you have a good LTV CAC ratio, obviously higher to 3 ideally, then it shows that your business is sustainable and it shows durability, I would say. So yeah, that will be my first thought, but obviously I'm really biased by my by what we do loyally. So
have you noticed a difference in how the global markets react, or is is everyone struggling with the same challenges right now, or is it different in different regions from what you're seeing?
So I think it's really different from region to region. You have lots of market specificities, but regarding the direct to consumer model, I think it's you have lots of similarities as well. Obviously, you have much more mature markets, such as the US or even the UK for that matter. So you will have also more competition. But generally, brands, I feel, are more mature and slightly ahead in terms of automation and data. So it will be a little bit easier for those more mature brands to move the needle on that. And I will say that in Southern Europe, like France, Spain, Italy, etc., there is more agility because brands are a little bit creative in some ways, maybe because less access to capital, etc., maybe. But also you have less structure, I will say, in terms of measurement about your growth efficiency. But I will say that most brands really share that challenge that acquisition can't fuel growth anymore.
So let's discuss loyalty. This is what we're talking about on here today. So let's discuss loyalty as that. I mean, let's call it the old new growth engine. Why is customer lifetime value more important than ever right now?
I think we've been discussing it a little bit, but I think everyone will agree that acquisition is not enough now to fuel growth. So I will say that LTV is really what buys you freedom. It's what brings stability to your business. If every month you have to start at zero, then you don't have any predictability. So I think for that matter, LTV is really important. And as I was mentioning it earlier also, you can see that in organizations itself, it becomes more like a global mindset than just a metric that people are trying to improve. And if you have great LTV, that also shows that your business is aligned with your customers' needs.
So let's talk more about what you were saying there with how it's becoming more of a global strategy. It's no longer one person's focus. What are you seeing there? What's the trends on that front?
So as in short, I will say that product is gonna think more about like how we can sell complementary products with better margins, shorter sales cycles to the customers. CRM is gonna try to orchestrate, the right recommendation in terms of product at the right time for the right person. Salespeople in the point of sales will be trained to try to upsell or increase the AOV, etc. So I will say that it's really spreading into the entire organization because resilience is really important nowadays. A little bit more than speed really matters, obviously, but resilience is really what's gonna keep you on the long run. So
yeah. How can brands actually measure loyalty beyond just repeat purchase rate?
So I think you can have a look at the average order value. It tells you if people want more of what you're selling. Obviously, it can be really biased by the number of products you're selling, etc., etc. But everything's equal. If you look at AOV and you see an increase, I think it really tells you it's a good signal, I think, for your customers being loyal. So that's one aspect of things. And I will say the other aspect of things is to check, that people are not only coming back, but they're also engaging with the brand. And it's actually really hard to measure. I don't know if you know lots of brands which can tell you, yes, I have like 20% of my customers who are also following my Instagram page, and 5% of them are regularly posting. So I will say you also have to look at the engagement depth. So do people share referral codes? Do people post reviews? Do they follow my social network? Do they answer my forms, etc., etc.?
Okay, cool. And what are some of I know these are all complex, but what are some of the simple high impact ways to lift that customer lifetime value?
So something I like to say also is something you can try right now if you're trying to drive a little bit more LTV is to maybe appear a little bit more human and try some things that don't scale, like sending, a handwritten note to your top 10% customers, or a video from the founder telling them, hey, thank you for your purchase. That means a lot to us. You can also, ask them for feedbacks, etc., etc. So by recognizing your customers and appreciating their feedbacks, they will feel that they are part of something bigger. They are not just a number. They are part of the brand, the narrative. Everyone wants to be included into this narrative. So it costs nothing except time, but it can drive genuine impact on short term, but also on long term on the LTV specifically.
Okay, cool. So you're sort of backtracking to your own growth there in terms of saying do those things that don't scale, because that's ultimately what makes your customers feel special. And I think we've had other people on the podcast here. They're talking about call your customer, and that's still so important because ultimately that builds it up as well. I know I brought up the example of Airbnb, and what they did was people were listing products with really bad images. So they used to go to their first customers to their apartments and that they were listing and take professional photos themselves. That was the founders, and then improve the listings off the back of that, which was obviously there's no ways they can scale that. But that's how they brought up the quality of and set that benchmark of what their platform was at that point. And what's a common loyalty myth that still drives you mad?
So maybe just getting back to your initial question. So I think it's cool to talk about things that don't scale. It's something you can try right away for almost no cost. Okay, but if you really want to drive LTV on the long term and a little bit more at scale, once you did the thing that didn't scale and got really precious customers' feedbacks, you know what really matters to them, and then you can, segment better your database of customers and then hyper personalize. So I will see if you want to scale afterwards, hyper personalization and relevancy is the best way to cut through the noise. And so that was just to complete my initial answer. And about some myths that drives me mad, there is a couple of them.
Lay them all out on us.
One of them would be, when people say, I have a loyalty program, most of the time it's more a retention program. So with the thinking behind it is that loyalty can be bought. So I don't think you can buy attention. I mean, you can buy it, but you won't be able to buy affection. So again, I think it's really with trust and relevance that you will be able to move the needle. And getting back to one of my first points when we were talking about how organizations are getting transformed by the retention philosophy, I think again, like companies who are seeing it more like as a function in the company and not as an entire business mindset. Also, I would not agree with them on that point.
Yeah. I think I said in the beginning, the forgotten metric, the forgotten acquisition channel, because it is still an acquisition channel. Just because it's somebody that's bought from you before, it doesn't mean that you don't have to acquire them again. You still got to put in effort. You still got to put budget into that. You still got to put your resources behind it. So from what we're talking about, could you give us an example of how a brand that doesn't have a big budget can start focusing on this and start having less reliance on paid?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
And how does a small brand without big budget, without lots of resources, start moving away from acquisition focus and start focusing on loyalty?
So I think you have to first and foremost a little bit crack the acquisition. It's really important to crack that first. So maybe to make it really depends on your business, obviously. But they can. When you are a small brand, I will say your advantage is more your agility, your speed. So you can try the things that we mentioned, like call your clients, etc., etc. And since you have less resources, my advice would be to just focus also on one post-purchase action and just try to really nail it down. Like, I don't know, a post-purchase email flow. Just do that and perfect that until it really works, and then you can amplify it. So again, do things that don't scale first, get relevant data, and then act on it step by step, nailing it down first, and then amplifying it. Then I would say is the best way to go, I think.
Yeah. Classic. Take those first steps, start doing little things. Those little things start compounding, and before you know it, you're 2-3 years down the line, and you've got a full-blown retention strategy going.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the compounding effect is real. Also, I think the word you use is real. It's compounding, because if they come back every month, then your business is really growing through this as well, and not only in the leaky buckets.
Yeah. So what kind of return on investment do you see from retention investments compared to customer acquisition?
I think I lost the sound.
Is my sound still working? You got me?
I can't hear you right now. Wait, it's weird.
I wonder if it's mine. Joe, you got me now or not? For anybody listening, could you tell me if you can hear Joe? Can you hear me? Let's try and
Can you hear me? Okay.
Got you. Can you hear me?
I don't have the sound. What happened?
Just unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Maybe I can try to leave and come back, or is it gonna blow the entire thing? Okay, really sorry about that. Okay.
Sorry, everybody. Got some technical issues on this side. Hopefully, Joe comes back with us shortly, and we can continue the rest of the episode. Bear with us until we get there.
I'm back. I'm back, but I still can't hear you.
You can't hear me because my mic was on mute.
Okay, cool. It works now.
You got me. We're all good. Hopefully, the people listening are still with us, and we can continue. I am trying to remember what the last question was that I asked you, Joe.
I think we are talking about the compounding effect or something.
Yes, you're right. So what kind of return on investment do you see from brands who are investing in retention compared to what that investment looks like and the return from acquisition? What's the I mean, for lack of better terms, what's the ROAS on retention versus on ad spend?
So generally speaking, we know that it's 7 times cheaper to sell to one of your existing customers rather than acquiring a new one. So that's one way to look at it. If you think about it, when you double your lifetime value, thanks to retention efforts, you're halving your dependency on paid ads. And we know that that market could be pretty volatile as well. So again, it's really bringing more stability. So yeah, I can give you like examples of some of our clients.
So please.
Yeah. So for example, we work with Volcom, the riders brand, and basically in a month after they launch a loyalty program, about 6% of their revenue is already coming from the loyalty program, which at their scale is really something interesting. So that's one aspect of things, but retention, specifically speaking. But when you combine retention with loyalty, on one hand, people will engage with the different mechanisms that you offer them based on their profile. By doing so, they will earn points or whatever you offer, and they will use those points. So the more of mechanisms you offer them, the more engagement you will get in the program. So the higher the repeat is going to be, the higher the AOV is going to be, the higher the lifetime value is going to be. And on the other hand, you will have also a lot of social proof. So reviews on your website, but also outside of the website, user-generated content that you can just reuse in your social ads, on your website, in your emails, etc., etc. People mentioning your brand on social, and both of those are feeding each other. So I think that's really the beauty of it.
Yeah. So are you seeing that they are growing? They're able to take that investment, get a return, and then they can go back and acquire new customers now, knowing
Yeah.
that their lifetime value is bigger as well.
Exactly. That's a really good point, because if you have a higher LTV, then you can bid higher on Google and Meta, etc. Because you can afford it, and you know that your customers are gonna stay. So for sure, by increasing your LTV, you're also able to have more acquisition, and obviously a more sustainable acquisition, because you're going to focus also on the customers that will stay.
Yeah. But I picked up, you've said the customer journey doesn't end at checkout. It starts there. Tell us more about that.
So exactly, my point of view is that a lot of brands are really like, okay, I just want people to buy, and obviously that's really important. That's the most important. You need to have customers first before anything else. But I see lots of brands, just sending generic thank you emails, like with a promo code or something like that. So if you're trying to start a relationship, and if you start it with a discount or something irrelevant, people are gonna get used to it. So I will say that's not a really good way to approach it. The goal, I think, after this first purchase is to build a connection with the customer. So, ask them their opinion, push them relevant products that people like them will buy. Engage them, ask them to complete a form or beauty profile, and by making it clear that you will use this data to better personalize their experience. And I think that people are ready to share their data if they know that it's gonna be more relevant for them afterwards. So really, it's like from a transactional mindset to more like an emotional and a connection mindset, I would say.
Yeah. Tell us more about how Loyal is helping engage customers post-purchase.
Yeah. So we offer 40 plus engagement ways. So beyond transactional approach. So obviously you can give points to your customers for every purchase, but you can also incentivize them to follow your social networks, to opt in, email, SMS, WhatsApp, birthday, or someone else's birthday in their family or something like that. Any kind of data, really. We integrate with Typeform and so on. So you can just shoot them a Typeform and collect as many data as you want. Then you will have content on social. You can offer them, or some of them, to post some stories, some reels, some TikToks. Anytime someone will do so, we will collect all their data. We will verify the content, and we will also gather the rights. So even the stories, like if the brand wants to, they can reuse it in social ads, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Regarding that aspect, you can also collect proprietary user-generated content, photos, videos, that you can reuse also. You also have reviews. So on the website with solutions like Judge Me or even Yotpo reviews or Trustpilot, etc. But also outside of the website, on your brand page, on Trustpilot, on Google reviews for your different point of sales, etc., etc. You can even reward them to put a review on the App Store, on the Play Store. You can incentivize them to download your mobile app. You can incentivize them. We have some lots of clients in fashion. So an interesting case study that we are seeing right now is that they incentivize their customers to sell products and buy products on their second-hand marketplace on their website. So the possibilities are really endless. And obviously the goal is to offer the right mechanism for the right person at the right time. But that's a whole entire story.
Joe, you still running around doing this manually, or is the platform taking care of everything now?
No. Fortunately, we don't do that manually. Obviously, everything is tracked, analyzed by our technology. Brands can still invalidate missions and specific contents. So, for instance, you can say, okay, I offer you to post a story, but you have to mention the brand and you have to use this hashtag. So our algorithms will be able to see that. They will be able to qualify the quality of the content and give you like kind of a score of quality on the contents. But the brands, they have the last word. So if I post any type of story with right mention, etc., the brand can invalidate the mission and I will lose my points. So
Okay. So and if the customer deletes that as well, does it invalidate? The other side of that is you mentioned that you could offer this to some people and others. Are you saying you got a way to pick that up? Who would be a good person to be posting? Somebody that's got a decent following versus somebody that doesn't. How does that all work?
So you could have different approach. It really depends of what types of products you're selling. But generally speaking, if you want to ensure a good quality of the contents, you can, for example, say, okay, I want only to push the stories and the posts and the TikTok, etc., to people who have minimum 1,000 followers on Instagram with an engagement rate of at least 2%, for example. So only those people will see the specific missions that you can offer them. So that's obviously really key. But for some people which are more discreet, like maybe, I don't know, my mom, my dad, or like, they're not on social, they will be very comfortable with reviews. And we will use all the history, the data that we have about every customer, where they buy, how much they buy, etc., their age, demographics, etc., to train machine learning algorithm and create hyper-personalized segments. And when someone enters a specific segment and is also part of another segment, like ambassador and big spender, then you're gonna be able to design a really unique journey for him. So he will be offered like very good discounts or whatever he used in the past, but with a high value maybe because he has 10,000 followers. And someone who will have less followers, you will have a smaller discount maybe, or so you can really adapt it to your customers, their behavior, etc.
Yeah. So you mentioned you wanting to replace thank you emails with that's just got a discount code with something more meaningful. What is that more meaningful thing?
For sure. So if I'm trying to think about like real world use cases, we have one of our clients, which is called Capsme. They're selling coffee online. Basically, it's a coffee brand. So what they've done is that after the first purchase, they send them an email saying, share how you use our product in your daily routine and unlock early access to our next flavor. So by doing so, you're not giving a discount, you're just giving early access. So I really like this approach. It's going to increase the LTV for sure, the repeat for sure, but not your margin. So I like that. It's also really cool because people are going to potentially post UGC. Some of them will be good, some of them will be bad. We can talk about it later. But when someone posts a good UGC, you can add this person to a list, and then later on you will know that, okay, I can trust this person to create quality content. So I think the risk is worth taking it because the UGC is not going to be posted anywhere. So I think that's a good way also to qualify who could be a creator and who couldn't be.
Yeah.
So I think I really like this use case. Another brand, My Blend, actually, it's part of the Clarins group. They added a post-purchase mission because in cosmetics you really need reviews for people to be reassured. So they said, leave an honest review or photo testimonial for 10 loyalty points. And 10 loyalty points is worth quite a good amount on their program. So yeah, you're generating social proof again, so everyone is winning. And I have also the example with Volcom, who are mostly using the post-purchase email like a mini community launchpad. So they say, share your look on Instagram and tag us, best photo gets featured. And it's a really community-oriented brand. People love to share, their tricks, etc., etc. So obviously you want to be mentioned. So I think the incentive is pretty smart also in that way. So those 3 examples for me are examples that I like when trying to engage beyond transactions and offering something a bit more meaningful by, collaborating with your customers in a more horizontal approach rather than just, okay, I'm a brand, I'm selling you products, very top down, very fixed. So yeah.
What's in order to systemize this post-purchase engagement, what's the tool stack that we need here? Obviously we need loyalty, but how do you guys fit in? How do you guys play with the other tools? What is that entire tech stack that is needed, and what does that automation process look like? So it can scale. So it's not something that can't scale.
Yeah. So basically, to have an efficient program, you need, I will say, at least 2 things. First one is a CMS like Shopify, and the other one is a CRM or marketing automation platform such as Klaviyo, for example, to display the loyalty within the entire purchase and repurchase and post-purchase journeys across different channels. So yeah, you just need basically touch points. So regarding the online experience, it's going to be displaying points on product pages. It's going to be creating nudges, so your customers are incentivized to buy specific products based on how they behave on the website. And you will have also touch points in the customer account, so anytime they log in, they can see their points and their rewards, etc., at the checkout, etc. And obviously we will get data from Shopify and from Klaviyo, but we will enrich the data. For example, we will tell Klaviyo, okay, Peter just posted a story, Joseph just completed a UGC or review, and so it will enrich properties, and properties will enrich segments within Klaviyo. So it's a lot of good triggers to again design really good experiences for customers.
Okay, cool. And then Joe, obviously, if you were starting, or not starting, but if you had a big brand and you had all the resources and you could, I've asked you the flip side of this, small team, small budget. If you wanted to build the best in class post-engagement loyalty program, everything that you're doing, what does that look like? What are you doing?
Wow. So obviously it also
is fun.
So the first thing I will say is really to analyze your customer base, how they behave, design LTV, cohorts to understand purchase behavior and distribution of the revenue among your customers. Then once that is done, you need to design a program that fits with your brand DNA. So we've talked a lot about missions, UGC, etc. Some brands are really not into it, and that's totally okay. You can have either like a program super gamified with everything we've been discussing, or you can have a program which is super premium. So basically you will have no points, no nothing. You will have VIP tiers, not with discounts, but mostly with services like early access, invite to an event, a private event, like a cocktail launch party, etc. And then on the top of that, but in a more hidden way, you will trigger some automations based on customers' behavior. So you will have, let's say, on a premium brand, some VIP tiers that everyone can see, every customer can see. And whenever you will try to create emotion and surprise. So if someone like is spending a lot very fast, they enter the segment big spender, and then you're gonna tell them, okay, Peter, like really appreciating your, your involvement with the brand, and we wanted to invite you personally to our pre-cocktail launch party to this event. Or if this person is using lots of promo codes, then you will be able to tell them, okay, here is your next order, will be on us. So, it creates like a really cool moment of surprise. It's really delightful as a customer when you get surprised by the brand this way. So it will work best with a bit more premium brand. So you can do lots of different things, but I will split it into gamified programs with points, missions, etc., and more like premium programs. And we've seen more and more and more of those use cases with clients like SVR, Lazartier, like cosmetic brands, Clarins, fashion brands, etc. And I think it's a pretty new thing to do for them because they were they were not really looking to it before, but now they know they need to work on retention, and they know that loyalty programs are a good way to do it. But you just need to find the right formula to do it properly, to keep your identity as a brand, etc. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, no, 100%. I think you've touched on a few things there that weren't even like on the radar. You mentioned segmentation. Is that something that's built into your tool? Are you relying on your email marketing platform and for instance Shopify to do that, or are you guys running that segmentation on your side?
So we do both. We are collecting Klaviyo segments mostly. Then when someone enters a segment and based on other properties within our automation engine within Loyally, we can, offer more points if they buy specific products, etc., etc. And anytime they will complete missions or so, we will update properties and so enrich segment. So the thing is that lots of brands, they don't have yet the customer data platform from Klaviyo. So some of them, they don't have the segmentation. So right now we are also trying to build a little bit more like RFM segmentation. So, like just the basics for brands who can't access it. And on top of that, we are also creating segments within Loyally, but really specific segments, which are not an overlap with Klaviyo or a CDP. So, for example, you will have, nano influencers, quality content creators, super referral people, who are referring lots of friends, and we'll try to combine it with the other segmentation. But the goal is really to not create an overlap. We are not going to reinvent the wheel. But I think we can enrich what already exists. So that's what we are trying to do.
Yeah. So is it using machine learning to identify those people, or is it like pulling on data from other brands that you guys have got the data on those users?
Yeah, exactly. So right now we are working on the machine learning. So right now we started with the cosmetic industry. So, I think we got about 30 million consumers in our databases. So obviously, if someone from the European Commission is listening to us, which I don't think so, I want to make clear that we are GDPR compliant, etc., and that we train our models on with the approval of our clients, obviously. But we are trying to go industry by industry and detect different types of segment of type of people, ambassadors, etc. To understand also when they will buy again, and what type of factors or reward or incentives are going to drive some behaviors. So we make sure that we are going to push the right incentive at the right time, mostly. So it's a very big project, but right now we are launching a couple of case studies in alpha, and the beta will be live probably in early 2026.
Awesome. We're going to play a little game of devil's advocate.
Yes.
For those haters out there, devil's advocate, loyalty programs are outdated. Customers don't care anymore.
Okay. I tend to agree, honestly, because I think there is a lot of kind of bad loyalty programs out there, really transactional, really, generic, really limited in terms of possibilities. But I will say that the good loyalty programs are sought more as a full engagement ecosystem. At least this is what we are trying to do, and like what kind of freshness we're trying to bring on the loyalty programs market.
So I mean, to wrap it up, if you're going to do it properly and do it in a way your customers do care about it.
Yes.
If you're not going to put the effort in, rather don't do it.
Yeah. You can start, like, there is lots of approach to first know if you need a loyalty program, like if it is the right time to launch a loyalty program. You can do incrementality tests, you can do many things. I strongly advise brands who are like thinking about it to send a survey to their customers to know what they like, what they don't like, what types of programs they are already using, etc., to really design something, with their customers, for their customers.
Yeah. So do you guys work with your customers when you first onboard them to help them and understand what they can use?
Yes. So your question was about accompaniment, right?
Basically, your guys' onboarding service. Are you guys like white glove onboarding and getting people set up and helping them strategize?
Yes.
Or is it completely self-service?
So we provide both models.
Yeah.
We have an academy. So you can just sign up, go through the academy, and get certified, etc. So that's one way of doing it for smaller brands. And for bigger brands, we provide a full onboarding session and strategy session where we are going to analyze all of their existing data, give them some examples of benchmarks, that programs that we like, that they like. We're going to co-construct all the rewards based on the tiers, and we are going to analyze also what looks like the forecast in terms of profitability based on the margin of the products, of the incentives that they are including into their VIP tiers, to give them, a really full visibility. I think it's also a really important things to keep in mind, that if you don't do properly the calculation in the loyalty program, it can be really bad for your margin. So I really advise to not overlook that step. And then we are going to help them on the communication, which is super important. So the minute you connect loyally with Klaviyo, automatically you have certain workflows which are already created by design, with some data already in it. You just have to design it. It takes some time, but it's a really important step. So and then we meet the customers either every 3 months or every month. So this is how we work with more like the white glove onboarding section.
And Joe, who is the best fit in terms of type of brand, what niche they in, to work with loyally?
I don't know if you can relate to that, but since I don't know, maybe 1 year or so, I'm using some food supplements. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old. So, like I really like this kind of brand. So, French Mush, for example, is a really cool example. They are selling, Lion's Mane food supplements, cordyceps, etc. So it's a little bit like space goods that is very famous in the UK, but more like food supplements. Now they also launched like a coffee-like food supplements type of products. But I really like this niche. I think, when you look at the nutrition of the food we are eating, it's clear that a lot more. So I think they are solving a real problem. And it works really, really well. They have a huge repeat rate. I think 20% of their revenue is coming from the loyalty program as well. So it's they tick lots of boxes in terms of the usage of loyalty in their ecosystem for reviews, GC, repeats. We are integrating with their subscription engine, which is Recharge. So yeah, very, very interesting use case, and I love this niche from the personal standpoint. I also love Volcom. Volcom is a really, it's. I was like clients of so many of their brands when I was younger. You can see it right now. I have a shirt and all, but I have a different past, and that was so. It's more like I'm kind of, it's more like a personal achievement almost, and it's really, really community oriented. So I think they're taking a good advantage of the possibility offered by Loyally. And I can't disclose it now because it's not done yet. But I was mentioning, the more premium use cases. So we are going to be releasing soon a collaboration with a super good and premium fashion brand based in France. And this use case is going to be completely different from what we've done before. So I'm really looking forward to that kind of programs.
So in other words, you guys are cross niche and sort of can fit right from those startups, the brands that are just starting out in customer acquisition, customer retention, to the big guys, which is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, we serve. I will say, there is D2C brands, pure players that started, but that have a really good traction, and now are opening, physical shops, etc. And the other type of customers that we have is more like very big retail brands that want to, develop more the e-commerce part. So since we are omni-channel, it's a good way. Both of use cases are really interesting. So you will have upper SMBs to mid-market brands, generally speaking, as a Loyally clients.
Awesome. Okay. One more devil's advocate. We already have a referral program. Isn't that enough?
Why don't you turn every person that refer into UGC, a review, new subscribers on your social network? That will be my question to you. But I'm convinced that you can do more with the same, and you can leverage models that people are already using, such as loyalty, referrals. It's widely used. Make it different, make it relevant, and I think that's what the future looks like regarding loyalty programs and engagement, for that matter.
Awesome. And let's just end it off. One piece of advice for founders trying to stay sane through all of this chaos.
I think, again, it's really about like the focus on what you do best. That will be my thought. I won't consider me giving advices on that, but if I really have to answer that question, I will, if I was in this situation, I will try to, focus more on what I do best, what is most impactful, eliminate all the fluff, and just, talk to my customers to make sure I'm going in the right direction, and that every euro that I'm going to invest is going to be wisely spent, and that I will have a good return on that. So that will be that. And also, on the other hand, also try to protect your energy as much as your margin.
Get some supplements involved as well.
Exactly.
Joe, thank you so much for coming on today, and I appreciate you spinning it all out and what loyalty is all about. For people that are interested in finding out some more about loyalty and getting in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
So you can visit loyally.io. You can visit my LinkedIn page. I'm trying to share some interesting content, which is Joseph Aubry. That will be a great start.
We'll chuck all of that into the show notes as well, Joe. And thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Peter. Really had fun with this conversation. And see you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the eCom Collab Club podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and join our community at ecomcollabclub.com/community.